Okay, let's make sure. Oops.
Hello.
Hi, Renee. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for including me. I am looking forward to some tips, tricks, and anything else you girls can throw at me.
I'm pretty sure you could do this Zoom all on your own because you seem to have a bunch of those. So,
Girl, I would tell you a story about a Zoom call with almost 200 physicians on it. I was like a nervous cat. I'd never done a Zoom call before. And it's me and my boss, and I looked at him, I said, do you know anything about Zoom? He goes, no, that's why you're here. And I started laughing. I'm like, well, this is not a good winning combination at all.
oh, that's funny. That's funny. Okay, so we are getting ready. You jumped on just in time. We are getting ready to get started. So I just wanted to thank everybody for joining us tonight because, you know, I am looking forward. So I tend to do events that I'm going to benefit from because I love all of this information. We did one today at 1 o'clock. And one of the ladies who can't make it onto the kitchen hacks tonight, I'm actually taking one of her ideas of her favorite tools and using it because I had no idea it was used for that. Isn't that funny? So anyway, so one of the things I love is I've been with the community with Juice Plus for 17 years. And not only does it keep me healthy and keeps me motivated, but I learn so much from this community all the time. I mean, I learned from the 1 o'clocks today with a few different tips and hacks. So I'm super excited for you guys to learn from us. This is going to be almost like speed dating, right? We're going to be just, you know, talking about some hacks and some of our favorite tools. And if you guys have any questions, if you want to, you know, let us know what your favorites are, we would love to know that as well. So, all right, we are starting with Deborah.
Thank you. So I'm Deborah Bradford. I'm in Houston, Texas, and I've been a customer first about 8 years ago with the Tower Gardens, which are now part of Juice Plus, and then pretty quickly became a Juice Plus user and then joined the team. And I love it. And tonight, you may hear in the background, you may hear my Tower Garden water going, kind of like a waterfall. You may not hear it, but I hear it. And just want to let you know. Now, the first hack I'm going to talk about, if you saw the flyer for this event, it showed a big strawberry. And here's a great, big, juicy, organic, freshly washed strawberry. And a straw. Like, well, what do those have to do with each other? You can't sip the strawberry juice out of it, but you can. And see this straw? It has a pointed edge. So, and I have another one that's clear with a stripe on it. I like to use these to take the core out of the strawberry. So I'm going to go around the top with that pointy edge, and I'm going to keep going until the whole core is out of the strawberry. And I'm going to use that same pointy edge to get the rest of the leaves. Now here's a tip. Strawberry leaves are medicinal. They're really great for your system, and you can put the leaves right in your smoothie blender and eat them. So here's my cored strawberry, and even it works just as well with the small, tiny strawberry. It doesn't really take too much of the fruit. It just takes the pithy part out. So that's my hack contribution. I could give you so many, and I'm going to share two tools that I use so much in my kitchen. This is the best peeler, and you can also use it as a corer for big vegetables that I've ever seen because it protects your knuckles with this piece of plastic. I can't believe that I spent over 65 years of my life peeling with those clunky ones that would get my knuckles. And this one never does. And it's really, really great, and it washes up really well. My other hack is this. This is probably actually a fish boning knife. But because it has a serrated edge, I love knives with serrated edges. I use it for tomatoes. I use it for fruit. I use it for slicing a small item of bread or a muffin or something. And it's just perfect. It just goes right in my wooden container for knives, and it's at the ready. So those are my hacks and tools.
I love that. And you know what? I always wondered, you pulled the core of the strawberry right out. I never did that because I'm always thinking, I don't want to have to clean that straw, but it came right out. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay. So who is next? Janie, I think, is next, right?
Yeah. All right, well, I'm Janie and I am about an hour outside of Chicago. And so we're so glad to have you guys here because we're all about helping families thrive. So hopefully you guys can pick up some tips and hacks that'll help you guys thrive and make life a little easier. My first one is I actually cooked, hopefully I don't dump my vegetables all over the place, but parchment paper. I don't know if you guys have ever used parchment paper to line your pan before you cook some veggies or anything really in a pan, but that is so handy because then you just like dump off the vegetables into a bowl and throw away the parchment paper, and then it just makes cleanup so much easier. Anything to make my life easier, I'm all excited for. The next one is hard-boiled eggs. When I make hard-boiled eggs, I like to peel them right away when they're warm because then the peels come off so easy. And then I also, another hack on this one is I recycle jars and reuse them for different purposes. And this is just kind of a nice slender one that fits up in your fridge and doesn't take up a lot of room. So this is kind of 2 hacks in 1 on that. We all try to get our families to eat a lot of fruits and veggies. And so I find, I'm all about like how things look and if they're in a fancy dish or whatever, it kind of makes things more appealing. And so this is a little parfait, or not a parfait, but a little fruit salad that I made earlier today. And I've got saran wrap on top of it just so everybody can, that it doesn't fall all out when I go to show you. But that's just a nice way to get a lot more fruits and vegetables and a wide variety in my kids' diet every day. Here is that organic peanut butter that's really healthy for you, but kind of gets like a brick on the bottom. But if you tip it upside down after it's opened, then all those oils keep mixed in with the peanut butter and keep it moist. So that's a hack that my son found out, and Karen just reminded me about it not that long ago. And here's another one. This using a pizza cutter to chop up like scallions or things like that. So I've already chopped some, but it's kind of nice because you can do a bunch at once and it's just kind of an easy, fun little hack. And so what are my favorite tools? When my kids were little, especially, who has trouble getting their kids to eat like hot things like corn on the cob? And I mean, it burns their fingers, right? That's no fun. But these little handy things from Pampered Chef, these are awesome. You just put them in the ends of the corn before you boil it, and then you can pull it out and it's not going to hurt their fingers. So I did forget to tell you one other tip. Okay, bananas. If you get some that are going bad or you bought too many of them, just throw some in the freezer because we make smoothies like every day. And when you take a frozen banana and you stick it in your smoothie, it just makes it taste more like a dessert. It just adds a lot, just that coldness and the thicker texture is just amazing. And then if you have trouble opening it, like some bananas are just kind of a pain to open. My husband actually taught me this trick. Monkeys actually open their bananas from what I would call the bottom, and it just opens really easy that way every single time, and you don't have to yank around the end of it. So funny. Who knew I'd been opening bananas wrong my whole life? But my favorite tool in the kitchen is probably my Ninja because we make smoothies all the time out of that. And so this is my Ninja shaker that my son and I share every single morning for breakfast. But I wanted to show you one of my very favorite hacks for our house, and it is our indoor garden. Probably, I don't know if you could see it back there or not, but I just wanted to show you briefly. I'm growing kale, not kale this time of year, but Swiss chard, cilantro, basil, onions, a bunch of different leafy salads. They're called fancy lettuce, which is kind of a funny name, but just a wide variety of stuff. So it's a nice little indoor garden that Juice Plus offers. So if you want more information on that, it's a great hack to have. And that way you're not throwing away lettuces that you buy and then 2 days later they get all mushy, right? So it's a great money saving tip to have one of these, because it's like growing your own money, really, because you're not paying all these expensive prices for organic food when you can grow it yourself and know that nobody's touched it, and you can pick it and eat it right away when it's most nutritious, rather than having something that's been shipped for hundreds or thousands of miles. So that's it. That's all my tips. And so am I passing it off to Tiffany now?
Yep. Thanks so much, Janie. And a couple of things I wanted to piggyback off of you. When you're doing your bananas, when you freeze them, do you peel them or
No,
you
I
don't?
No, I
So
don't.
I do peel mine. I will
Okay.
peel mine beforehand and then freeze them.
Okay.
So that's something that I will do. And I kind of wait until if they're starting to go, that's when I'll do that. But, well, hi, everybody. I'm Tiffany. I'm tuning in from, Detroit, Michigan. And, one of my favorite tools that I use is, the Instant Pot. And I actually, for the most part, will use that thing to hard boil my eggs. But thanks, Janie. I don't actually peel mine before. So that's a tip that I'm going to be taking from you, but it's so easy to do it in there. It literally just requires 1 cup of water and 7 minutes of your time. And it's super easy. So if you guys haven't tried that yet, I know a ton of you probably have an Instant Pot. One of the other things I do is, well, first of all, having the fruits and veggies, like Janie said, in a pretty container is just so important. I have been, for probably the past, I don't know, maybe like 2-3 months, have just been coming home. And because I've already prepped those raw veggies, it's so easy for me to grab them, and they're just seeing them in their container with their wide variety of color, the orange carrots, the green broccoli, the cauliflower, makes it really appealing to actually see them already cut up. And then another thing that I'll do to try to get more greens into my diet is I'll actually blend up, and I don't have a fancy blender. It's just an Oster blender, but you take about 8 to 12 ounces of coconut water, and you blend up spinach, maybe 2 stalks of celery, a cucumber. You can add avocado to that if you'd like. But you just blend all that together until it's a nice liquid. And then you can actually pour that into ice cube trays. And then what I'll do with that is I can either use those to throw into my smoothies. And we've got a really great plant-based smoothie that comes in chocolate and vanilla. And right there, you're already getting 15 plants, but you know, we always can use more. So a lot of times I'll use those cubes, two cubes to put in there, but even they're really good on their own. If you just take another 8 to 12 ounces of water and about 2 or 3 of those green cubes, and you put them in the blender, it actually makes a really nice, refreshing green juice to just drink as well. Yeah, I think that was it. Thanks so much for having me on.
I love that. Oh my gosh, so many great tips. Well, nobody's going to be surprised that knows me that I'm a talker, and whenever these guys have talked about stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's another, hack or a tip that I've got. So I'm not even sure where. I'll start with some of the simple ones. So, okay, first let me do. So we make with our Juice Plus Complete, the shakes. We make other things. We make overnight oats. We make, pancakes. We can do fudge. We can do all kinds of stuff. But one of the things we love are little complete balls. And I make snickerdoodles and Thin Mint, Girl Scout cookies and stuff. But it always calls for a nut butter and honey and things like that that get stuck in a measuring cup. So one of the hacks you can do is just spraying the inside of this so the peanut butter and the honey and different sticky stuff can come out of that really easily without getting stuck. So don't laugh. Okay. I do a lot of shopping at Costco. So we buy, it takes us a while to go through this. And so one of the hacks I found a while ago, because the brown sugar, if you're not using it quickly, starts to get hard, right? And then you're kind of breaking it up and it's kind of yucky. So I don't know if you can see in here, but there's actually marshmallows. I found a hack a long time ago that said if you, to keep it soft in there, to use marshmallows. I know they also have those brown sugar bricks, but we just throw some marshmallows in there. It's just as easy. Okay, so at Costco again, and it's in the fridge, I didn't bring it out. I'm sure you guys buy, some of you guys buy the big plastic containers of spring mix or, lettuces and spinach. So often what you find is after a couple of days, that's starting to get slimy. The stuff that's touching the plastic is starting to get slimy. Well, thankfully, because of this community, one of the things we learned is that when you put things in glass, they don't go bad as fast. So what I do when I get the big plastic container of spinach or spring mix or anything like that is I take half of it. I will actually put it into a big Ziploc bag and throw it in the freezer, because I can just then take out handfuls and put it in a smoothie. And then for the stuff that we want to eat to use for salad, I recycle jars like Janie. This is actually from artichoke halves from, again, Costco, huge. And I will stuff this full of all the greens, and this will keep for at least a week, even longer, in the glass. So it doesn't keep in the plastic, but it will keep in the glass. So I love that hack. And then one of the other hacks that kind of gave me that idea actually was the salad in a jar. If any of you are familiar with any of us in the Juice Plus company, you know we love our salad in the jars. We have these events, we invite people over, everybody brings ingredients, and then we make these, and these give you salads for the week, which is awesome. One of my other ones, I forgot to get it out of the freezer. Hold on. So again, with Costco, I like to try and be healthy, but I'm not consistent with it. Does that sound familiar to anybody? So I want to drink lemon water. I don't really enjoy it, but I'll buy the big bags of lemons from Costco, and I'm really good for a few days, and then they sit in my pantry in the little basket. And then all of a sudden I notice that they're going moldy, and, you know, and I've got to throw them out. So I one day thought, what can I do? So then I decided to, when I bring them home, I get the cutting board out. I spend about 15 minutes cutting them in half and juicing them. So this is one of my favorite tools, is you actually put a half or a quarter, depending on how big the lemon or the lime or whatever is, and then this juices it. And then I will put all the juice into an ice cube tray, right? An old fashioned ice cube tray. And then what I get is, I don't know if you can see this, but I have then ice cubes of lemon juice. So then when I want lemon juice, I can actually just put it into my water, and it's like ice or something like that. Let me put this back in there real quick, because it started to melt earlier. So I don't want to do that. Okay, my last, so we were talking before this, and I thought of another one, and this isn't so much a hack, is just ask when you go to the grocery store. So I don't know how many people eat butternut squash, spaghetti squash. Some of those squashes are just outside. I feel like you need to be, Tarzan in the jungle with the machete trying to open these things. So I know at Publix here, and possibly you guys can ask your grocery stores. What I did is I found just the whole butternut squash, and I take it to the guy in produce, and they cut it in half. They wrap it in the plastic. Nobody else in my family really eats the butternut squash, so I only buy half. They wrap up the other half and they sell that. So if you guys, don't buy some of those things because of that, like, oh my gosh, I can't, I can't cut this, or I don't want the whole thing, ask your produce section if they'll do that for you. Okay, the last one, and I got the parsley off of the Tower Garden. This one is so cool. This is, if you have an old time cheese grater, I can't believe I still have this, but yeah, an old time cheese grater, you put it through one of the holes, and then you pull it through, and then you have the leaves. Whoops. You have the leaves that you need to chop up, right? And then we learned from Janie that you can take your pizza roller, or if you have the herb scissors, which I have, then all you need to do is cut. So I know that for a long time, I would sit there and I would pick off just the heads of those leaves. So now that's so much easier. I think that's all my hacks. So I want to talk about my favorite tools. So this one was brought up by Lydia earlier today, and I got this from Pampered Chef years ago. And if I tell you how many years this has been in my drawer, and I'm like, I don't even remember what she used this for and what I'm supposed to use it for. And Lydia gets a big bowl of lettuce and she chops up the lettuce with this. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. So now I'm excited to use that. This is what my kids and my husband, quite honestly, I can get them to eat a salad, but they don't want big chunks of tomato or peppers or, zucchini or cucumber and stuff in there. But if I can make the pieces smaller, then they'll eat it. So I bought this. I know they have the real big ones, but I love this one because it's small. It's not as hard to store. It's a Hamilton Beach. I'm sure I got it either from Bed Bath and Beyond or Amazon or something. And there's several different attachments. And the kids for years thought it was so much fun, right? To be able to put the cucumber in there and it goes and it chops it all up. So I just love that. I love this one. And then we talked earlier about garlic. I'll share Lydia actually, and I didn't bring out the garlic, but you can actually peel garlic by putting it and shaking it into a jar. And that's so much easier. And then my other favorite is this garlic press where you put the pieces of garlic into the garlic press and then it goes out. And my newest one, this is not for everybody. I can't narrow it down to just one. I'm sorry, guys. My newest one is my almond cow. So for probably at least a year, I've been watching people in the community that have this. And I'm thinking, gosh, you know, do I get that? Do I not get that? What it is it actually is a milk maker. It's a plant-based milk maker, which is cool. We have always drank almond milk. We make oat milk. We can make cashew milk. We can make coconut water. We can make coconut milk. We do a combination of some of those nuts. So it's pretty cool. So I have a Vitamix, which is yet another one of my favorite tools in the kitchen. I've had it for 10 years. But honestly, if anybody has a Vitamix and you've tried to do nut milk, you can. But I have to soak the almonds for 12 hours, right? And then I put it in the blender and it makes the milk, but then I got to pour the milk through a cheesecloth and then I'm squeezing it like I'm milking a cow. And it takes forever and it's messy. And I just wouldn't do it because it was too inconvenient. This almond cow, if anybody loves, plant-based milk, it doesn't have to just be almond milk. If anybody loves their plant-based milk, this is so easy because you don't have to soak any of it. I just go into the pantry and I get my almonds or the cashews, put hot water in there, a little bit of salt, a little bit of vanilla, turn it on, it's done in 2 minutes. So it's pretty remarkable. The last thing I want to share is a favorite hack by everybody. Oh, Deborah, you have an almond cow. Is our favorite hack in the community. And it's the Juice Plus. So I know for most people, including myself, it is really hard to eat. Let me get them so you guys can see the labels. It's really hard to eat the amount of fruits and vegetables that we're supposed to get every single day. Kids are supposed to get 7 servings a day, women 9 and men 13. And so this is our hack on, how to get more nutrition from whole foods between what we're supposed to be eating every day and what we're actually eating every single day. And you have the purples, which are the berries, the red, which are the fruits, the green, which are the veggies, and the orange, which are the plant-based omegas. And it comes in capsules and they do come in gummies. We do have a special program that if an adult signs up for Juice Plus, then a kid between the ages of 4 through college can actually get Juice Plus for free. They are vegan. It is plant nutrition, right? It's fruits and vegetables. It has a nutrition label, not a supplement label. And I'm trying to think, it's NSF certified, and there's 42 clinical research studies published in medical journals. So that's just kept us healthy for the last 17 years. So I know there's a ton of information in the chat. I want to be able to go through that with you guys. So if you guys want to unmute yourself and ask questions, we're happy to answer any of the questions if anybody has any.
Hi, this is Sheila. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. The almond cow, that is so cool.
It is.
Where did you purchase that? From Amazon?
From Almond Cow. I mean, it wasn't inexpensive. It was $200. But the way it cost me about 25% of the cost of, because you still have the cost of the almonds, right? The actual, or the cashews or whatever it is. But when I figure out the cost of what I'm paying for my jug of, almond breeze or silk or whatever it is, environmentally, I don't have to recycle anymore, which is awesome. There's none of the extra stuff in there, all the preservatives, right? It's just, it could be 3 or 4 ingredients. And so over time, it's kind of like our tower garden where it'll pay for itself over time. So yeah, I love it.
That is so cool. I never even heard of anything because someone said you can do it in an Instapot too. I haven't tried that yet either. So, but like you said, you got to squeeze it through the you know, you got to soak all the, I was like, but I like that. So I'm like,
I will pay for convenience.
that's me. That's
Right.
me.
Plus
I will pay for convenience.
the almond cow doesn't heat up the
Right.
contents like a one pot will.
Right.
And sometimes if you are running the Ninja blender or another Vitamix, you know, it can get the contents warm or hot,
Right.
which impacts the nutritional level.
Exactly.
So an almond cow doesn't do that. And they've got great recipes, and you can even take the meal that's left over from your almond cow milk preparation, whatever kind it is, and you can use that meal to add to your cereal, or you know, your hot cereal. And you can also use it to cook with. They've got recipes for the meal, and I found out how to make my own creamer with the almond cow milk.
Right.
So I'm not buying creamer anymore and having to recycle plastic creamer bottles.
Right. I got you.
Yeah.
I'm into convenience too, and recycling different things. I do the thing with the lettuce too, Karen, as far as, you know, putting in the jars, because I'm just plus person myself. But I also, with the lettuces that you get in the plastic containers, I find too that it lasts a little longer when you put like paper towels under and over it too. It'll last a little longer with that as well.
Yep.
Thank you for that, Sheila.
I love hacks. That's my thing. I love doing hacks and doing different things, trying different things.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, Renee, I think you put in the chat that you wanted to share some hacks. I'm sure you've got some.
Let me unmute, and I'm going to hit share content. I think, can you hear me okay and see me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. So I'm new to the whole video thing, and I'm new to Juice Plus, so I just figured I would dive into the deep end. I think once you join, you can't be kicked out, right?
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
Yeah. So one of the things that I do, I enjoy meal prepping. I was telling Karen the other night, you know, it pains me to go and spend money on food that I, you know, out to eat, and it just doesn't satisfy. So one of the things that I do, I don't know if you can see this, these are BPA-free plastic containers, and they have a lid with them. There are two sections. I don't know if you can see that very well. And what I like to do is use these to put our leftovers in. So when my husband and I make a meal, I always make a little bit extra. I put the leftovers in. These are good in the freezer, fridge, and the microwave. So it makes it much easier to grab and go. Plus, you're not eating the same thing all week. If you kind of put these or collect these throughout a couple of weeks and put them in your freezer, you can go back and have leftovers whenever you would like to. The other thing too, and this was something I had learned recently, are avocados, which I absolutely love. But if they get to the point where they're ripe and you don't have enough time to eat them before they go bad, you put them in your refrigerator, and that coldness of the refrigerator stops the ripening process, and they'll last probably for another week or more. Speaking of avocados, if you cut open a slice, leaving the nut in there, you take plastic wrap and you push it against the skin and what's exposed, and that will actually prevent the oxidation. And these will keep for another week in your refrigerator as well, and you can use those. The other thing I like to do too, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this brand, Organic Girl. It's anywhere from $3.99 to $5.99. And at my local grocery store, I usually will go in the evenings about 7 o'clock. And they have gone through and they will have marked down produce that is perfectly fine. It just has the next day's date on it. So they're trying to get rid of it. So if you look, I paid, I don't know if you can see that, 99 cents.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So this organic baby kale spring mix, they had 3 of them. And I do look to make sure that they look good. And this looks perfectly fine. And so I'll bring it home. I'll open it up. And just like, and I forget her name that just spoke, I just put a paper towel in it, close it, turn it upside down, and it will keep for a week. So yes, we had that hack. And I think one of my favorite hacks, because I'm new to Juice Plus, carrying around 4 bottles when you work out from the outside of the home and trying to put in a little baggie and keep up with the baggie in the bottom of your purse doesn't work really well. So what I've done with my husband, especially, not that he carries a purse, but he's in sales, so he travels a lot, is I've given him 2 options. I've taken an old medication bottle that's empty, and it will fill, I can fill it up with 2 days worth of the Juice Plus capsules. So when he's on the road, he has those to take, or just a small little container with a lid. And this will probably hold about 5 days worth of Juice Plus capsules for you. That way you can travel and go. But those are my hacks.
I love that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Totally impromptu, and she was prepared. I mean, why am I not?
Yes.
I'm not surprised. Not surprised.
That was
You're talking my
impressive.
love language here.
You did a great job. Holy
So
cow, that
one
was
of the
great.
other things with avocado that Lydia shared earlier that I do as well is, I mean, I love avocado, but
I do
in
too.
Costco, it's like my nemesis. I buy and there's like 6 of them in there, so there's just too many. I know I've put them in the fridge before, but I also will just add them to smoothies. And so you can take them, cut them in half, put them on, get them separate. You can put them on a plate or put them on a cookie sheet or something, put them in the freezer. And then once they're frozen, you can put them in a bag, and then you can always just take out however much you need, like a half, and then, you know, put it into your smoothie. And you honestly do not taste the avocado in the smoothie at all. It just makes it kind of thicker and creamy, which is good.
Cool.
So
That's
Lydia shared
great.
earlier something kind of interesting about garlic too. Remember, Karen? She was talking about, she's a nutritionist, and so I can't remember the name of the antioxidant or what nutrient is
Well, the
released, but when she,
allicin, yeah.
oh, you remember it?
Mhm.
Okay, because I know when she smashed the garlic, what did you say was released?
So
Allison?
the yes, it's garlic has anti-cancer properties plus other things, but that's one of the things that it's known for.
Yeah,
But
so
it
that's
releases,
awesome.
you need, I think it was, she said if you were going to, oh gosh, now it's, see, that was new to me too. I think she said if it was going to be raw, then it was okay, you could eat it. But if you were going to be cooking it, let it sit for 10 minutes, because that's when it activates the you know, phytochemical in it. I think it was, she said it was called allicin, that's what, you know, kind of triggers the anti-cancer properties. So
Yeah, that was great because I had never heard of that wait 10 minutes. And I don't know, that just kind of reminded me of like Juice Plus, you know, how it's all chopped up and, you know, out of its original state. And so it's in a pre-digestible form. So it's easily digested because it's been really pulverized. And so that kind of just reminded me of that, like this antioxidant was more prevalent or whatever in the garlic by being smashed up. So I thought that was pretty cool.
yeah, neat. Oh my
I
gosh.
will say something about that. There was a nutraceutical, you know how in the fall conference, there's a nutraceutical conference tied to the fall Juice Plus conference. The last one that I went to, they had actually featured a study about cutting fruits and vegetables and storing it. So, you know, like how Janie and I are prepping these things beforehand, that actually the produce itself goes through its own healing process, which if you chop a carrot day 1 and eat it 3 days later, it's actually more nutritious for you on day 3 because of that healing process that the carrot itself is going through. So it kind of sounds like that same concept with the garlic that Lydia was talking about.
Huh, that's really,
Isn't that wild though?
Yeah,
wow.
thanks. I never knew
So
that.
cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Wow.
Someone did tell me that they heard that at that nutraceutical conference. I forgot about that, but that's amazing. It's just so much. We have so much yet to learn, right? So we're just doing our
Exactly.
best every day with what we've got. But thanks for sharing that.
That's awesome. Anybody else? Oh my gosh, we've gotten some extra bonus tips. I'm super excited about all these.
This is Sheila again. I'd like to add, as far as the avocado, I put mine in like lemon juice and put it in the refrigerator, and it stays a little longer too. It doesn't turn brown as fast as well.
Yes.
So,
Well, and we know that from, right? Like Renee actually said, they oxidize just like we're
exactly.
oxidizing.
Right.
So just like we're oxidizing, you can cut an apple, and
Same div.
if you take the lemon juice and put it over half of it, that will actually stay fresh and the other side will actually brown.
Right.
So yeah, that's awesome.
I've got one thing that I forgot to mention earlier that I love. When we make our smoothies, I add like nut butter to mine all the time. And so I found this at Trader Joe's, and you can find it other places too, but it's powdered peanut butter. And so this is so nice because then you don't end up with that waste on the side of your shaker. It's just easy to blend in. So that's one little hack that I forgot to share earlier. And I just love that. It's such a money saver.
That's great. Anybody else? We seem to just keep coming up with, with more stuff. Okay. All right. If we don't have anything else, we had so much fun sharing all of these. And I got to tell you, I learned even more this time. So I hope everybody here enjoyed it. I hope that you're able to take away some new hacks and try them at home. I was telling everybody on the one at 1 o'clock today that I've gone 52 years without knowing how to open a banana properly. Like Janie said, like I've always opened it from the little stem part, not from the bottom. I had no idea. So that just proves that monkeys are smarter than I am. But anyway.
I missed the one earlier today. Is there any way I can get recordings of this?
I will have a recording.
Okay, great. Where do I go to you as far as Facebook, or where would I get it?
You can reach out to me. Are you in the May Madness group or no?
No, I'm not. I'm in actually Summit, but I heard that's going to be getting changed to Team Summit.
Okay. If you just want to look for me on Facebook or on Voxer, then yes, I can send it to you.
Okay, I'm on Voxer. Wonderful.
Perfect. All right. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to stop recording. That was so much good information. Have a great night.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
you too.
So much
Have a great
fun.
one. Yes, it was